All right, welcome to another episode of Lifestyles. I'm your host, Craig Sewing. We put a great one together for you with all of our beautiful co-hosts. We're going all over America's finest city, from the coastal scene to the social scene, and we're going to dive into the real estate market here as well. Let's go ahead and get another episode of Lifestyles started right now.
So I'm up in the college area at San Diego State. And I don't know about you, but I remember my college years, and eating out was almost like a luxury. But if you're feeling like you want to splurge on a meal, well, you might as well come to Woodstock Pizza. If there's an ingredient on the menu that you don't really want on your pizza, you can bring your own. Ashley, this all looks really delicious.
Oh, thank
you. Can
you.
you go into a little bit about your ingredients? Because I understand that you guys use really fresh ingredients here.
We do, absolutely. So here we have our classic pepperoni pizza. Our pepperoni is completely nitrate-free, so the healthiest pepperoni you can get for yourself. Our crust is folded over, so you have the sauce tucked in. So every bite you have from the beginning to the crust, you get some of that sauce in there. And this sauce is specially made for us. It's a special Woodstock's recipe, and it goes from the tomato on the vine into the can and sent out to us in our stores in less than 6 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can really get it that fast.
Yes, we have a group that we worked very specifically with. We wanted to have the freshest possible sauce because you can really taste the difference. You know, the sauce is the base of the pizza.
Definitely.
And you need it there. So then you can move over to this pizza. We have our gluten-free Grateful Veg.
Thank you.
No problem, catering to everyone here. The Grateful Veg is a supreme veggie pizza. It's got mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, olives, and fresh tomatoes on top.
All the works.
And then we have a Greek salad here. We added some chicken onto it, get a little more protein in there, make it
Looking at you,
well-rounded.
Yes.
And of course, some wings for you as well.
I'm prepared for cheat day, so this
All right,
is it.
perfect.
Yeah.
And Dean, you know a little bit about the community here? Obviously a lot of students, so maybe a lot of renters?
Yeah,
Any details on
so
that?
so my experience here, obviously with a lot of students being here, we actually deal with a lot of parents who by default become investors in the area, right? So so here's what happens generally every year. We get calls all the time. And tuition, like staying in the dorms and all that tends to be expensive. So we get calls saying, hey, we're interested in possibly buying for our kids, and throughout the school year. So they end up buying. They have their roommates there and pays their rent, and 3 or 4 years later they're selling for making $100,000 out of the place, right? So
wow.
Yeah, I know, and we do. It happens a lot every year. We know we're getting phone calls for it. So it's great. I mean, and as far as investors go, they stand to, as far as like monthly, they stand to make anywhere from, for a 2-bedroom as example, $2,000 to $2,300, something like that for just a 2-bedroom, and it goes well over $3,000 for a 3-bedroom place.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of parents that are calling you. Are they always in state, or some of them
No.
out of state too?
Out of state calling us. They basically have looked at what it's going to cost them and has decided, we're going to invest that money in our kids. And we've actually had kids titled onto the property and held onto the property afterwards.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so smart.
You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing to watch because they've actually prepared their kids to take that next level of ownership and
Absolutely.
Growing up.
Giving them a little head start too.
That's it. Yes, exactly.
Really smart.
I know. I
believe,
love that when they call me, I love that they're doing that for them.
Awesome. And then I also understand that you can come in and put anything on your pizza. What does that mean?
So the best way to describe it would be prepackaged.
Okay.
So we have people who wanted to come in and put hot dogs in their all-meat orgy, which is a supreme meat pizza. It's not anything.
Dean likes that.
So stuffed into the crust along with our sauce were hot dogs.
Yeah,
So,
really?
Wow, now that's unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say though, with the new laws that changed in California, you are not allowed to bring anything
Favors? Any like
marijuana or
Yeah.
cannabis based.
Okay.
But otherwise, we are open.
Anything other than marijuana you can put on your pizza. What are some of like maybe the weirdest things or funniest things you've had?
A woman wanted to split her pizza with her dog, so she brought in dog food. So it was a half and half pizza, half for a human,
No.
half not for.
You are lying right
no,
now.
It is absolutely true. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Give the customer what they want.
Absolutely, I guess.
Okay, so you really mean it. Anything
We
you want
do,
on the pizza?
absolutely.
Okay.
By the way, I
yeah.
like how this is strategically placed right in
Right
front of me.
you.
The wings.
It's not gonna last.
That's all for you. I just want to touch on too a little bit about tying in the students here. You do a lot for schools.
We do.
What is the type of fundraisers you guys might do, or how do you guys give back to this community?
Well, right around now, this whole month, we are actually doing a fundraiser for Rady Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Whole month of February. We're doing proceeds from our dessert, Cinnabread, go to Rady Children's Hospital. And we're doing, at checkout, you can donate $1 and you sign a pizza slice. You know how you get like the shamrocks or
Yeah,
the balloons?
yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
a pizza slice and the $1 goes directly to Rady Children's Hospital. They are just so helpful here. They've helped so many of the people who work for Woodstocks with their kids when they're sick, and it's just an integral part of the community, and we want to be able to give back to them as well.
And you guys raised a certain amount of money last year as well?
Between all of our fundraisers across our 7 stores in California, we raised over $205,000 for the community.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
great.
It
Wow.
was great. It was very fun. The Burn Institute fundraiser was my favorite one down here. They do rally cars, the Burn Institute.
Oh, do they?
And then they go destroy them when they race.
Okay, okay.
And they brought the car here, and we did 25% of our sales went to them, and you could go donate $1 and sign the rally car, so your name was out there.
Oh, I
and
love it.
It was all for the Miramar firefighters and the Burn Institute.
Wow, that's great stuff. Well, I guess this new semester has started, so you could always tell the parents, like after they work with you on the property, to get over here to Woodstock.
They know. Trust me, I don't have to tell them. They already know, man. This is a staple in the community. So, I mean, and I'm looking at it right now, just ready to pounce on this
Well,
pizza.
then I think it's time. I bet I should get you guys some plates. No
All
better
right.
time to convene with friends around pizza, and I didn't even realize I've got this beautiful cider if you're more of a beer person.
It's sitting right in front of you, though. I think it's.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
It's got your
That
name
is
on
the
it.
best cider I have ever had, by the way.
I know that tastes good.
Oh, that is really good, really good. Sometimes you got like some bitter tasting ciders. This goes down really smooth.
That's Golden State Cider, so they're up in Northern California, and that's their Mighty Dry Cider, so it's supposed to be more like a champagne cider.
We've got to get into this right now.
We definitely do. Okay, Dean, I guess it's time to finally eat. So I'm gonna send this over your way. Thank you both so much.
All right.
And let's dig in.
Thank you.
We have a winner! Johnny, you won! You won!
Grandma?
There are certain times in life when you need a neutral third party to call the shots.
I wasn't ready. I know, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't, you hear me?
Keep it fair. Choose Oakwood Escrow.
At the Birch Aquarium in La Jolla, there's so many fantastic exhibits you can check out, featuring marine life all across the western seaboard. I'm meeting my friend Ryan here so we can learn about the various activities that the Birch Aquarium offers to San Diegans.
Birch Aquarium in La Jolla, and yes, a brutal winter day, but this is one of the iconic spots in all San Diego. This is one of the best views I think you could ever have. La Jolla is buzzing right now. There's been a lot going on and a lot coming up. We just had the Torrey Pines had the Farmers Open golf tournament, and the course was redesigned. The North Course looks amazing. We also just had the One Wave Challenge right down here. Literally, you can see it from where we are now. And the One Wave Challenge is such a cool thing. There's upwards of 200 surfers every year come out to see how many can get on one wave.
Wow.
And it's a great fundraiser. The charity it supports is Boys to Men, and they do mentoring for at-risk kids in middle school, high school. Such a great organization. They have a 5K run. It's low tide,
Nice.
and they go up and down the coast. So such a cool event. So yeah, La Jolla's got so much to offer, and Birch is the center of it, really, the aquarium. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa, what's happening at Birch Aquarium these days?
Oh, loaded question. We have Monday through Friday school groups coming to join us for formal programs in our classroom. Every day we have the general public visiting, upwards of 500,000 people every year. They can explore things like tide pools, which are right below us now. They can see all of our beautiful exhibits and get hands-on with some of these animals.
Oh, that sounds great. What are, I know too that sometimes you go on whale watching excursions.
Yes.
You also have the pier that's down below there with the Scripps Institute. Can you describe some of the really cool exhibits you have here and the type of marine life people might find at the aquarium?
Absolutely. If you have never been to the aquarium, as soon as you walk in, you are overhead, you're going to see sharks. So we definitely talk about sharks here. We talk about local sharks like our leopard sharks, and we have a large exhibit outside that focuses on them and then their stingray friends. Inside, when you walk in and go to the right, you're going to explore the Hall of Fishes, which takes you from the Pacific Northwest all the way down into warm waters off the coast of Mexico and beyond. So we have things like giant Pacific octopus, we have a very large kelp tank that has live kelp in it, and things like the giant sea bass and Garibaldi and invertebrates crawling around. We have a very famous loggerhead sea turtle. She's famous because recently she had a 3D printed addition added to her carapace, or her shell. She's been getting a lot of attention for that. She's doing great. Then we have the beautiful coral exhibits as you kind of make your way through the Hall of Fishes. And then on our museum side of the building, we talk a little bit about conservation down in Baja, Mexico. We look at things like climate change, which is a huge topic down at Scripps. We have to talk about that. It's a major research area down at Scripps.
Sure.
Then we have a beautiful exhibit on our research vessels, and then we kind of round that out by talking about seahorses and sea dragons. And the not to miss exhibit is the Infinity Cube, which is all about bioluminescence and how very, very tiny animals can produce very large flashes of light to either attract prey or food or to deter predators.
That's got to be, I imagine, really popular, maybe with the
So
kids
cool.
to get in
Yeah.
there. Have you been in there?
Yeah, I loved it. It was incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on really quickly, you had talked about the 3D printed part for the sea turtle. Is that part of your work with the Scripps Institute, and does it make it a little bit more special here because you have that connection with science?
Yes, so we have an amazing animal care staff, but in addition we have amazing resources outside of our building. We work with not only Scripps Institution of Oceanography, but also with the University of California, San Diego. We're all part of UC San Diego. So yes, we worked with partners up at UCSD as well as down at Scripps. Also, a few NOAA researchers have worked with us with our turtle, not specifically on this project, but definitely with helping us work with our turtle the best we can.
Okay.
So yeah, we work with lots of parties outside of Birch.
And most of the stuff you said you can find from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to Baja. Is that something that the scientists that help you, they'll actually collect and showcase here?
Yes, so between the Hall of Fishes and the museum side, you're getting kind of a brief overview of the research that happens at Scripps, but really Scripps is a global enterprise. They study everywhere, every ocean. We've probably got a researcher out there studying something. So we are a small facility that can only showcase so much.
Yeah.
So once we expand and can show even more, you'll get the bigger picture of what Scripps is really doing out there.
All right, so we've definitely got to make sure we come back when you guys
Please.
expand and check out everything. What do you think is going to be your favorite excursion if you decide to do one with Birch?
I've never done the whale watching, so I'm super pumped to do that. It's an iconic kind of activity to do, and these animals are just incredible. And to see them breach, I think seen it on film, but to see it in person would be
Exactly.
super cool.
And it's so cool that you
Yeah.
can just do it right here in our backyard.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
perfectly
I know.
positioned.
As far as the real estate around La Jolla, what's the news happening and buzzing in 2018, Ryan?
Well, 2018's off to a good start. 2017 was another phenomenal year for real estate. Prices were up for North County up 7%, which was better than most people expected. And really at the coast, La Jolla, coastal communities like this, it's over 10% in a lot of those markets. So 2018 is probably going to cool a little bit on some of the rate of appreciation, but the markets are still at such a low inventory. Inventory was down almost 28% from last year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we need more properties. Affordability is still an issue. I do have a condo listed in Carmel Valley, just west of here, and it's the lowest priced property, and it's an original condition 1-bedroom condo, and so it's getting a lot of attention, and it's really an interesting thing. You've got first-time buyers that are looking to get into the market, and you've also got investors kind of competing with them to fix up this little condo, put it back on the market, maybe as a rental. So that's definitely a theme, again, is affordability.
You mentioned development and construction with just getting more things onto the market. I know that you and your family are versed in development side. How could you help somebody that might be interested in finding out about getting a new constructed home or getting new property?
Yeah, the builder confidence is up, and as the market's improved, builders are now kind of really getting back into the market. So the good thing for 2018 is that we're getting more new construction. It is tough because of the cost of the land, the cost of regulation. It tends to be the mid to higher price homes. And so the real challenge is how do we get some of these lower price new construction properties? So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, we're developing custom homes, we're doing remodels, and it's really interesting because there's a push-pull between the millennials and the baby boomers. So like the kids and the parents, they're actually kind of competing on some of the same downsized single level properties that have cool design, cool architecture, and are walkable. You know, they're close to restaurants and shops and everything. That's the competition right now. So very interesting dynamic.
That is interesting that both sides, the millennials and the baby boomers, might be going for the same property. I find that to be a little unique.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. This view is amazing, Lisa. I definitely want to get my binoculars out, maybe catch some sightings of some whales.
Absolutely.
And check out all the rest that Birch has here at the aquarium, and also to take you out on different excursions and activities.
As a real estate professional, there are only so many hours of the day, which means efficiency is more than a buzzword. It's a daily necessity. 2 tools from First American Title can help you keep on top of your transactions, either at your desktop or on the go. My First Am puts comprehensive property data at your fingertips, where you can review recorded documents, past transactions, or locate comparable sales quickly and easily. Cost First can also ensure you have 24/7 access to closing costs data, allowing you to generate net sheets, calculate fees, update documents, or email, print, or save your reports, along with TRID calculation and consummation date timeframes. Each sale includes a number of stages to manage, each with the possibility to delay a closing or derail it altogether. Let Cost First and My First Am keep your transactions on track. Contact your local First American representative to get started today.
So for San Diegans, when you think of wine country, I'm willing to bet that the first thing that comes to mind is Temecula. But if you're a wine lover and a foodie, there's a 5-star culinary experience awaiting you just outside of Escondido. This is my first time in Valley Center, and I've never been to this winery before, so thank you so much for bringing me here. Why did you choose this place today, Kip?
This particular winery was developed from the ground up from a really close friend of mine, Michael Schimpf, and we have his daughter-in-law with us today, who is the wine tasting room manager. She's going to tell us all about the amazing wines, a little bit about the area, and a little bit about what Hilltop Winery and Hilltop Ranch has to offer.
Perfect. What's going on here, Liz?
Sounds good. Well, Valley Center is a small knit community. I think that's what makes it so great, is that everybody supports everybody. So the winery, they started in 2006, first opened our tasting room doors in 2013. And it's one of the few wineries in the area. So Mike really had a vision of developing the wine industry in this area because it's not well known. And San Diego produced some of the very first grapevines before the Prohibition. So such a great way to bring it full circle is to bring Valley Center back to vineyards and grapevines. So
that's a really cool point, because I don't know about you guys, I never knew that San Diego was sort of this maybe wine mecca before the Prohibition.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool fun
Yeah,
fact.
it's really neat. And I think what's amazing about this particular area is that you know, Michael came into Valley Center when it was really avocado fields, citrus, and ranches. And he came here to retire. And I know Mike well enough that retire in his mind means that he's going to reinvent himself.
Sure.
Being a real estate developer, he's developed stuff all over the country. He came here and he kind of thought, well, what am I going to do with these 30 acres? And here we have it. It's pretty amazing.
What kind of wines do you guys have? How many grapes do you grow? What's all the details?
So we have 30 acres here on the property and about 17 acres planted total with 10 different varietals. So we started with Cabernet and Merlot, which are Mike's two favorites, and we did that first and we blended them and did them on their own, and then we expanded our varietals based on that to kind of test the soil in the area. We didn't really know what was going to grow well here. Our oldest vines are 11 years old this year, which is our Cabernet and our Merlot. And we just won a double gold medal last year for our 2014 cab. So that was really rewarding.
So I guess from the trial and error, you've maybe actually figured it out a little bit.
Definitely. I think the one thing about Mike is that his attention to detail is very impressive. So he spares no expense when it comes to making high quality wine. It's not necessarily about quantity, but it's about quality, and you can see that when you taste the wine and you see the winemaking building in the tasting room. You can definitely tell the difference.
Well, this space is absolutely beautiful. Are there other types of things people can do when they come here aside from just drinking the amazing wine?
Yeah, so we have events that we do throughout the year, a harvest festival, which is pretty normal, and we have a great wine club, so we have over 250 wine club members. So we'll throw quarterly wine club parties for them where they can come, taste the wine, listen to live music. In the summer, we're open later, so it just creates a cool atmosphere to come watch the sunset, drink wine. The view is very impressive, so something to not be missed.
Absolutely. I kind of wanted to join that wine club here, get in on that. So some other events too, weddings perhaps? People come here, parties, birthday parties, or anything?
So anything from bridal showers to birthday parties, anniversaries. We do a lot of smaller events, and then we also do big weddings as well. So that hasn't been anything new, but we have a beautiful little private pond with a waterfall that creates the perfect setting for a wedding.
Kip, you also mentioned that Mike has done a lot with real estate and developing in addition to this property. What kind of things has he done to expand?
Well, one of the things I think that's so unique about the winery and the ranch here is that Mike kind of had that secondary vision of, you know, how do we bring the real estate element into and creating a lifestyle experience around the winery. And so Michael took 12 properties next door and developed 12 single-family residences that are absolutely amazing. They're about 3,800 feet on 2 to 4 acres. And what really makes it unique is that majority of the landscaping is wine. It's wine grapes. And so they're able to harvest that and add that to the winery. And it really creates an incredible experience for anybody that's kind of looking for a more rural environment to live, but also you're close enough to all the amenities that San Diego has to offer.
Definitely. What types of people do you think would want to come to live here and maybe live on that property as well?
I mean, the property you can pretty much do anything with. Like he said, there is grapevines planted on a lot of the properties next door, so we will buy those grapes back or make wine for the homeowners, which is awesome that they can be a part of the winery in that way. But you can really add whatever you want. So a lot of people have put in pools, have horses next door. So, you know, single family, you know, you have a lot of space. It's all on one level, so it's very open. So I think, you know, younger families, even older retired couples, you know, it's kind of best of both worlds. You have a quiet community in a safe neighborhood.
2 to 4 acres, it's hard to get that type of space and land in the city.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you look at North County, San Diego, there's not a lot of opportunities to do that without having it be $4, $5, $6, $10 million. What's amazing about this area is it's in a huge redevelopment. There's a lot of new development coming on, both residential and commercial. So Valley Center is really changing, and it's probably becoming one of the most dynamic neighborhoods in all of San Diego County. And when you see that, there's a great opportunity for people to come in and actually be on the ground floor. It's truly a special place.
Yeah, I love that. So we might actually see some changes maybe in 5 years from now with people knowing about Valley Center and coming here and bringing their families. Liz, I just want to ask you, because I imagine when people come here and they drink wine, they start to get a little hungry. So what's the food situation around here?
Sounds good. Well, we just built our brand new tasting room in last August is when we moved in. And we added food during that time because we knew everybody gets hungry when they drink, right? And they're only going to want to hang out longer if you have food. So we added a gourmet food kitchen. We have a full menu, including appetizers and entrees, where people can come and snack while they're wine tasting or have a full dinner, which has been a great addition. Valley Center has very few restaurants, so it's been a great addition to the area, and we've only received some awesome feedback. We try to just source local vendors to keep it as farm to table as possible, and that's what makes us unique, is that you'll see items on the menu that aren't just Mexican or Italian. It's kind of a little bit of everything, and I think that sets us apart a little bit.
Cool.
Well, and didn't Michael tell me that you guys have a wonderful executive chef?
We do,
on staff?
Yeah, he has a master's degree in culinary arts, so he's been a great addition for us, and you know, goes and mingles with the customers, and we listen to our customers, get feedback, and we try to improve and change based on that. You know, we don't have a set menu, it's seasonal, so it's not always the same. It's changing with the times and with people's interests, so.
Well,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that you created a kitchen that's mobile.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm starving after hearing about all this gourmet food, so I think it's time that we blow off this TV crew and we finally eat some food and obviously drink some wine. What do you guys say?
I'm in.
Sounds great.
All right, that's all for Lifestyle, celebrating America's finest city. Thank you so much for tuning in with us every weekend. And don't forget, you can engage in the conversation as well. Would love for you to follow us on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're active on all of it, celebrating the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. I'm your host, Craig Sewing. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.